So today's question comes from Jose, and he says, how can someone stay 100% locked in on his goals? Because sometimes I think and feel I'm 100% all in on a goal, but then I realize, usually after a slip, that my mentality wasn't actually all in. How do you keep yourself focused and determined on a goal every single day? And this is a great question. I mean, this is one of the holy grails of self-development. It's like, how can I just be 100% all in? And we love that feeling. We love that feeling of just being unstoppable, where our success is inevitable because we are just so in it. And so I get where you're coming from with this. But one of the things that I had to learn, which I think is very, very important, is that 100% locked in does not mean 100% perfect, right? So, for example, Michael Jordan's best game, he scored 69 points. You probably assume that he was pretty locked in that day, okay? Like that was, an insane performance. But in that game, guess how many shots he missed? He still missed 14 shots, which is, still frankly an insane shooting percentage, but 14 over the course of, however long a basketball game is. I'm talking 1, miss, 2, miss, 3, miss, 4, miss, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like it's 14 shots is still a lot of shots that were missed. Okay. And so that's the thing, is like, he wasn't perfect, but he was totally locked in. And so this is where I think the shift needs to occur in your mentality when you're talking about getting locked in, okay? Like when you're 100% committed to something, it means that it's not that you're going to be perfect, it's that you're going to keep coming back to the task and iterating, adjusting, and putting the effort in. What it sounds like you're struggling with is that as soon as there is some little slip, maybe it's, I don't know your situation, but something I see this with is with quitting porn, obviously, is that if a guy slips once, sometimes he doesn't even relapse the porn. He just he takes a risky click and looks at something sexual, or he, stares at a girl too long, or he fantasizes. A second he's imperfect, he thinks, oh, I'm not doing this anymore. Oh, I've screwed up. And then he just lets the whole thing crash and burn. So he just goes into a bender and just binges porn. That's what we want to avoid, is that mentality is driven by a perfectionistic mentality, instead of one where it's like, oh, okay, I misstepped here. All right, let me just correct. Let me just come back to the game without falling into this narrative that I failed now. Really, commitment, being 100% all in, is about narrative control. And it's about the story you tell when something goes off course. Are you going to tell the story like, oh, I misstepped here, so that means I'm not locked in? Or are you going to tell the story of, oh, I misstepped that, and since I am locked in, I'm going to counterstep. All right, I'm going to take a corrective action. And easiest way to do that is through metascripting, in my opinion. That's why, in many ways, I created this technique. It's a journaling technique. It's like, all right, you had something go to the side, went off. Well, let's counterstep. Just do a quick 5-minute journal entry to reorient our mind, learn from the situation, and pre-program ourselves for better success. And you can start learning this technique by clicking the link in the description. It's a short training, and it's a very, very powerful tool. And you can even use this method to help reinforce your mindset, because a part of it is about feeding yourself the thoughts you need to hear. And so, one of the pieces I would recommend focusing on is reinforcing your commitment when you do those journal entries. Write that message to yourself, be like, hey, it's okay. You weren't perfect. We can fix it XYZ way. You can still do this. It's still totally possible. Feeding yourself those kinds of thoughts is essential. That's what needs to happen. You need to reinforce the narrative that you are locked in, because if you can just keep thinking like you are, then you are. Bottom line, that's the reality, is those thoughts will turn into the emotions, which will turn into the actions. I think it's definitely a solvable issue if you can accept this mindset shift that I'm offering you here. Do you guys got any questions? Shoot them over to me at podcast@frontlineman.com, and hope you found this useful. Love to hear your comments below. See you all in the next one. Booyah.